Okay, today's challenge for myself is how far I can get in this mandala design in 20 minutes while talking about my process, the pens, and the colors. We'll see how well I do. I hope you enjoy. Please like, follow, share, you know the drill. If you don't, that's okay too. Do this for me. I hope people who see it enjoy it. Um, I am going to zoom in so that the details show up a little better. Thanks. So my process is picking my colors by the time on the clock. So I have a portfolio of fountain pens. I color everything in fountain pen, and occasionally colored pencil, but not my mandalas currently. And so I look at the clock, and whatever that last digit on the clock is, I start and count from beginning there. And then, so this was the seventh pen. And then I will count from that point over. So right now it is 7:08. So I will count 8 pens from where this one was over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that picks the next pen and ink that I will use. This ink is Robert Oster Silver Fire and Ice, and the pen, much like the previous pen that I used as Myers Pen Co. A lot of my pens come from Myers Pen Co. They are absolutely one of my favorite bespoke pen makers, but I do have lots of other pens in my collection. This ink is heavily shimmered ink and does require a broad nib to get the shimmer out with minimal clogging of the nib. I won't say it never clogs, but the broad nib does help. Fountain pens do require maintenance more than most other instruments you might see used for coloring. And as you can see, it does come out in this particular ink rather wet, so it does take time to dry. The paper in this particular book from Color It is very heavy duty cardstock like paper, so I don't worry about it bleeding through too much, but I do have a paper between, so while it may bleed through under here, it will not bleed through onto my next design. A lot of people ask how I decided to come up with my pen selection process when choosing my colors, and it's a multi-fold answer. Part of it is that I really hate making decisions, so coming up with a bit of a randomized solution takes that decision fatigue away. The other reason is that if you left it up to me, I would always go towards my blues, greens, and purple inks, and never towards the warmer colors or towards kind of neutral colors. And after a while, that gets very boring. The random color selection is kind of an interesting process because there are times that you look at it and wonder how something is going to go together, but somehow color magic always seems to make it work. I did not always use fountain pens to color. That's another question that I get asked a lot. I actually started with markers and colored pencils way back in the early 2000s, when adult coloring books were very different than they are now. And I colored lots of patterns. Mandalas are kind of just the most recent iteration of types of patterns they color. My recently diagnosed autism has given me very strong pattern recognition skills. So geometric patterns and things like that were always one of my go-tos for coloring. There was a series of books called Images by Roger Burroughs that is what I first started coloring in. And those were very unique. They're based on the mathematical principle of clothes packing. And when people look at them, they see different things. So some people, like myself, see geometric designs repeated over and over again, or creating mandala type designs in there. Other people actually see bowls of fruit or animals or other things like that in the way the shapes orient themselves. I eventually moved to other geometric designs and finally on to mandalas, which I've been doing for a number of years now in various books. I used to use gel pens for quite a while, but when I rediscovered my love of fountain pens, I moved to trialing how fountain pens would work as a coloring medium and found that I really enjoyed it. And I enjoy the fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, while I count, that I really enjoy the fact that they are more renewable than most other tools that you might use for coloring, in that the pen is always going to exist, it's always going to last, and I just have to refill it with ink, and that ink is interchangeable. So if I ever decide that I don't want a specific ink, like this private reserve plum that I'm using now, I could change this out and put something else in. I typically match my inks to my pens, but that's not always possible, or sometimes I just have an ink that I want to use, and rather than put a brown ink in here, I had this and I didn't have a pen for it yet, so it went in here. This pen, I don't remember the maker's name. I actually found it at a local street fair of all places, but it is what's called a Zen pen. It's a kit with a magnetic closure. It's kind of fun. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This pen is another one from Myers Pen Co. This is actually my first truly custom pen from them, where Alan Myers, the primary maker of Myers Pen Co., took 2 blanks that his son Tristan had made and created alternating finial cap section body finial for me out of the 2 blanks. Um, the ink that I have in here is Waringall's Wendy Darling, which is a blue ink with a very subtle pink shimmer. It may not show up given how small of a section I'm using it for right now. It's very light, very pretty. You can kind of see the blue ink in there. This is what would be considered a demonstrator pen, in that you can see the inner workings. I'm going 8 pens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is one of my manufactured pens. It comes from Monteverde. This is an Invincia. It's a metal-bodied pen. It's quite heavy. And I have a Pilot ink in it with one of those Japanese names that I would butcher if I attempted to pronounce it right now. So I will not, but I will put it in the caption. This is considered a standard ink in that it has no shimmer, sheen, or even really any shading properties. So I'm sure it has some shading under the right circumstances, but it will not show up here. A big part of doing these designs is kind of deciding what to leave as negative space and what to do as positive space. Negative space being the white spaces to leave, and positive space being what to color in. This is another Myers Penco pen. This is an Antoinette. It is eyedropper filled. It can also be used as a dip pen. Eyedropper filled means that there is no piston, converter, or any other filling mechanism. You just remove the nib, add ink to the body, and capillary action puts ink through the nib. The ink I have in here is Warangall 12th Night, which is exclusive to Atlas Stationers. Yes, I'm very familiar with the inks in most of my pens. There are a few inexpensive pens that have some sample inks in them as I work towards putting all good pens in my coloring collection that I am less familiar as to which ink is in which. But any of the pens, like this one that I have actually selected and matched an ink to, I am very aware. But I also have swatch paper that lists the pen and the ink and shows the color, so that should I want to do a design with a specific set of inks, I could. Haven't done that yet, but there is Another book that I work in, Joanna Basford's Secret Garden, that I do a lot of work with mixed media, colored pencil, and fountain pen, that has a maze that I plan to do in rainbow. And so I may more specifically pick colors for that. Going to pens. You're going to hear this name a lot. Also Myers Pen Co. This one is a matte finish, and notice that it's not as shiny as the others. This is a Phoenix Ghost Blank, one of my favorites. I just picked this up at the Orlando Pen Show, which was just this past weekend in Orlando. I guess that's a no-brainer. And I have in here Dominant Industry Sunset for the ink, which is a lavender with a gold sheen. Gold shimmer. So it's very similar to this color here. Hopefully I'm not annoying anybody with being very rambly about all of this. You can see there's lots of fine details in these designs, and the fountain pens do a really good job of being able to get into those very easily without any bleed over or things like that. And even if there were, the inks tend to play well with each other, in that you get some pretty blends and things like that that make it look very intentional. This would be one of those inexpensive pens that I mentioned. These were actually the first fountain pens that I used when deciding if I wanted to color with fountain pen. I got these for like a pack of 18 for like $19 on Amazon, with the goal of just putting sample inks in there and seeing if I liked how everything came out. Did it work? Did the paper take well to it? Did I like the aesthetic? And I did. So I slowly started replacing these pens, which work, as you can see, but they're not the greatest quality, and they are only come in fine and extra fine nibs, so they don't handle the shimmer inks, even though this is a shimmer ink in here, as well as a broad nib or even a medium nib would. And so definitely have been upgrading my collection for the past year and a half to what you've seen most of this time. All I could tell you about this ink is it is from Diamine 2025, 2024, whatever, the black edition ink vent advent calendar. This is another one of those Amazon pens. Just trying to shake up the ink here a little bit. And another one of the Diamine ink vent inks. I think just because of the color that this is, I'm going to color in this heart shape rather than leaving it white. That'll look more finished. And as I finish this up, I will make sure that I include all of the pens that I used in this video in the description, so that if you want to find those or close to them, you can, as well as the inks that I used. I hope that this is something you enjoyed watching, and please, if you have any questions about the process, pens, the inks, fountain pens in general, coloring, really anything to do with what you've seen here, that I would be happy to answer them. I can do a whole video on that, or just answer you in the comments. I love to engage with people, so please do not be afraid to ask. There is no stupid question, no silly question. If you're completely unfamiliar with fountain pens, I'd love to teach about them. So there we go. That's how I forgot in 20 minutes. Thank you.